Everyone knows Willow, like Grace, hates me to the marrow of my bones. Hates me for stubbornly clinging to this marriage. Hates me for not giving her freedom. She has filed for divorce up to 99 times. But every time I flatly refused. On the 100th time she proposed divorce, I agreed without hesitation. We divorced. Willow, like Grace. You are free now. The first time she demanded divorce was when my heart hemorrhaged severely. Willow, like Grace, coldly spoke. As long as you agree to divorce, I will sign the surgery consent form. The second time she demanded divorce was the day I had a car accident. Willow, like Grace, held her phone in one hand. As long as you agree to divorce, I will call an ambulance for you. And the 99th time was when I was tied up by kidnappers. Willow, like Grace, still coldly said the familiar words. As long as you agree to divorce, I will pay the ransom. I am truly exhausted. I do not want to bow my head. But Dr. Forrest told me, my heart after the previous surgery no longer has the strength to hold on. In 7 days I will die. Willow, like Grace, is the famous ice beauty of the capital, cold and distant from everyone. From childhood I like to follow her around. But someone who hates trouble like that, and is so cold, turns out she could also for me, rush into seas of fire dozens of times, snatch me back from the king of hell's hands. My parents both died in a fire. For a long time I could not open my mouth to speak. Willow, like Grace, patiently helped me practice speaking. Late at night I feared the darkness. She told stories all night, chatted with me without stopping. I truly thought I was loved. So when Willow, like Grace, proposed, I agreed without thinking. After marriage, when I realized the family fortune had been completely plundered, when I pushed open the office door to confront, I only saw Willow, like Grace, embracing Forrest toward south, passionately kissing. Leave peaceful, safe. You saw it. Divorce me. South's family needs a proper status. I madly rushed up to question. In the end, why? Do you think I really love you? Leave peaceful, safe. The day your mother forced my mother to death, was it as desperate as you are now? Only then did I know she hated me for 10 whole years. So I went mad, like a mad dog guarding its last possession. I cannot divorce. Must not divorce. I do not allow myself to bow. But I am about to die. Just thinking about it, I feel so pathetic. I absolutely will not let anyone see my ugly side. Even in death, I do not want Willow, like Grace, to collect my corpse. I do not know how long passed. I suddenly woke from the dream. In the dream, Willow, like Grace, gently embraced me. Crimson roses covered the entire world. She devoutly prayed, her eyes full of affection for me. Peaceful, safe, we will be husband and wife for life. But upon opening my eyes, the world was only a stretch of darkness. Willow, like Grace, posted a photo on her friend's circle. A streak of fresh red, a rumpled bedsheet, caption. Finally obtained the true love of my life. The next day, I took all the money I had, went to buy a burial plot, and the contact for the grave was Willow, like Grace. After arranging all my funeral matters, I returned to the villa. In front of the villa gate, my personal belongings were thrown everywhere like trash. A familiar male voice rang out, instantly gripping my heart tight. Like Grace. Does everything here really belong to me? Willow, like Grace, smiled lightly. Everything belongs to you. You are the master of this house. Neither noticed me standing at the gate. I clenched my palms tightly, to not appear too pathetic, only to see on the ground the old photos of me and Willow, like Grace, torn to shreds. What hurt me most was my parents' memorial tablets lying in filthy water, unbearably dirty. Who did it? I clenched my fists. Flames of hatred blazed in my eyes. Forrest toward south was startled by me, quickly hid behind Willow, like Grace, pitifully cried out. Like Grace, he is too fierce. He will not hit me. Right. On Willow, like Grace's face, there was no expression at all, only her hands tightly shielding Forrest toward south, with a hint of anger. I did it. What is your opinion? This is my house. You already signed the divorce agreement. If unsatisfied, move out. My heart ached for a moment, but my expression grew calmer. We have not yet received the divorce certificate. This is also my home. And the person behind you, what status does he have? Do I need to call the police to arrest him? Those words instantly ignited Willow, like Grace's anger. She slightly frowned, the disgust in her eyes almost overflowing. Her aura instantly turned icy cold, coldly laughed. Leave peaceful safe. Where is your backbone? Where is your pride? I picked up the memorial tablets, expressionless, turned and walked upstairs, threw all of Forest toward South's luggage in front of Willow like Grace, violently onto the ground. Forest toward South's eyes instantly reddened, cried noisily demanding to leave the house, and I slammed the bedroom door shut, locked everything outside. Tired. Truly too tired. Clearly this house is the last inheritance my parents left before dying. Willow like Grace knows full well why I always stubbornly hold here. This is my home. But now I weakly clenched my hands, as if the last bit of strength in my heart also vanished. I realized I had reached my limit. I struggled to crawl up, searched all the memories between me and Willow like Grace over the years. The black suit she gave me on my birthday was just hastily bought to compensate for Forest toward South's luxury item. The thick notebook with hundreds of peace talismans on the back full of Forest toward South's birth dates. Even the wedding ring she gave me that year. Now looking closely, the inner circle engraved with Forest toward South's initials. I am truly foolish. Only now do I understand. Willow like Grace never loved me. My body no longer had strength to think further. While Willow like Grace was out, I took everything to the garden, disposed of it cleanly, just about to close my eyes and rest. The phone with Willow like Grace's special ringtone suddenly rang. By reflex, I answered. Leave peaceful safe. Star had an accident. Come quickly. I instantly sobered, rushed out of the house. All along the way, I prayed non-stop. Star is the leukemia child I adopted years ago. But after I and Willow like Grace completely turned against each other, I had to send the boy to the welfare institute, visited every week. Star was especially obedient. No matter how much pain, the boy only gently held my hand. Dad, it does not hurt. But when I panicked arriving, hastily pushed open the welfare institute door, Forest toward South in the crowd suddenly burst into loud laughter. Ha 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 ha. Like Grace. You were absolutely right. He is like a dog. You say one word and he comes immediately. I turned to leave, but was forcefully grabbed by the wrist by Forest toward South. I wanted to struggle, but was pushed entirely into the pond. What the hell are you daring to call me the third party? When I surfaced from the water, the first thing I did was rush in front of Forest toward South, raised my hand, with all my life's strength, slapped him hard across the face. When I opened my eyes again, before me only the hospital ceiling. I struggled to sit up, but pain stabbed throughout my face and body. Dr. Forest saw me, wanting to tear open the wounds on my face, immediately rushed to grab my hand. You do not move recklessly. You just underwent full-body skin graft surgery. Now is when the body is weakest. Skin graft. I froze for a moment, suddenly rushed to the sink, only to see my entire face covered in large and small exposed wounds, blood streaming down. Dr. Forest still tried to stop me. You best not move recklessly. Even if disfigured now, with good care later, perhaps it can still heal. My tears silently slid down the wounds, stinging even more, but I have no future left. Willow, like Grace, stood at the door. This time you owe him. Your slap tore a bloody gash on his face. He is disfigured. You must compensate him. And the daytime incident was his fault first. He has already been punished. I found it laughable, laughed until my whole face ached. What punishment? Willow, like Grace, slightly frowned, somewhat dissatisfied with my question. Replied, he fears pain the most. Is the pain from skin graft surgery not enough? I knew she favored and spoiled Forest toward South. The moment I heard the answer, I still could not help trembling. Is that so? Willow, like Grace, how painful are the over 30 wounds on my face? Is that what you call punishment? The aura around Willow, like Grace, instantly turned ice cold, but her face remained like eternal frost. Leave peaceful safe. What are you still struggling for? Obey. Admitting fault benefits both. I snatched the phone to call the police, but Willow, like Grace, only glanced lightly. Did we not say during the day, we are not yet divorced? Thus his skin graft surgery was signed by me. If you want to report to police, Go ahead, see if in this entire capital, any police dare take this case. After saying that, she completely lost interest, turned and left, leaving me alone, pitifully staring at the blurry 110 on the phone. I hate why I loved Willow like Grace. I no longer had time for further treatment. Directly returned home. In the house, Forrest toward South had moved in, taking sparkling photos in the living room, preparing to post on Friends Circle. I originally did not want to tangle with him, planned to go upstairs to find house documents. This house I must sell, no matter what. Cannot let it fall into Willow like Grace's hands. Forrest toward South saw my back, directly called out. Stop. I did not react, but the next second was yanked back hard. I wanted to struggle, but a patient's strength was too weak. I did not let go. The faint wound on Forrest toward South's face. Leave peaceful safe. Look at the necklace. Like Grace bought me, only one in the whole world. His face full of smugness. I knew, without Willow like Grace's unconditional pampering, he would not dare be so arrogant. I lowered my head without replying, struggled to breathe heavily to conserve strength for upstairs. Forrest toward South saw I had no reaction, forced me to lift my head. Leave peaceful, safe. What are you still pretending for? In your heart, you must be very angry. Right, the woman I loved for so long, turns out never loved me. I silently raised my eyes, smiled foolishly and spoke. And you? The one who wedged into others' marriage. You marry her without fear that one day someone will sit in your position. Truly pitiful. A flash of malice passed through Forrest toward South's eyes. Leave peaceful safe. Just wait. I will snatch your most precious thing. I originally thought he meant Willow, like Grace's love, but unexpectedly that very night, the entire villa erupted in massive flames. In the thick smoke, someone yanked me up hard. Firefighters shielded behind me, hastily stepped outside. No. I realized what was happening, still wanted to rush in to get my parents' tablets. But firefighters held me tight. Forrest toward South had been rescued by Willow like Grace. At this moment held in her arms, face full of defiance. I am not wrong. What did I do wrong? He called me third party. He hurt me, so I must punish him. For the first time Willow like Grace did not defend him, but sternly told him to shut up. But I heard nothing. Before my eyes only flames consuming everything. The last memory of my home turned to smoke. I suddenly spat a mouthful of fresh blood. Could no longer support my body. Consciousness gradually sank into darkness. This was the second day I woke, but my voice still hoarse. Could not utter a word. Forrest toward South pale-faced, eyes red as if enduring heaven's injustice. Sorry. Sorry. Willow, like Grace, stood behind him. Proactively spoke. This time South did not understand. I did not react. He is still young. Impulsive. Making a few mistakes is normal. The house I will compensate in the divorce agreement. I sat on the bed, violently threw everything around. Could only make monotonous weak sounds. Get out all of you. Willow like Grace did not force. Instinctively shielded Forrest toward South behind. Throughout the following day, she stayed by my side. Even when I threw things bruising her face, cursed her harshly, everything seemed to return to before. But I knew, Willow like Grace is someone who hates owing others most. So she was atoning for Forrest toward South. She would hug a leaf to warm herself, also place a candy after bitter medicine. Her care meticulous to every detail, almost made me harbor illusions I should not. Could it be she loves me again? But in the dead of night, because my throat hurt, I woke to find water. The room pitch black without light. I unconsciously walked toward the lit door, but the noise there made me freeze. Friends' noisy voices made Willow like Grace slightly frown. Be noisy, but do not wake him. Forrest toward South pouted dissatisfied. Like Grace. You have been with him so long. When will you be with me? Willow like Grace did not answer, only indulgently pinched his cheek lightly. The turn for truth or dare came to Willow like Grace. Everyone exchanged smiles. Asked the question they always wanted. Sister like Grace. Clearly at first, no need to help him practice speaking. Could still complete your revenge plan. Why do something unnecessary? Willow like Grace's expression unchanged. looked at forest toward south with eyes full of tenderness. Because if he cannot speak in bed, it would not be interesting. So in the end, I never gave him once. Willow, like Grace, sat among the crowd like a victor, even carelessly did not notice the trembling figure behind the door. I desperately covered my mouth, not wanting to appear pathetic. I clearly knew Willow, like Grace, did not love me, knew I could no longer like her. But why does my heart hurt so? I dazedly returned to bed. Turns out only I am the thorough fool. Willow, like Grace from the start, aimed for revenge. I sat on the bed crying all night, until the next morning when Willow, like Grace, came, startled by my pale face. I looked at the girl no longer in my memories, suddenly spoke. Willow, like Grace, you do not need to do these things for me. I find you truly disgusting. Willow, like Grace, froze, intended to say something, but my next words were like farewell. In 4 days we divorce. Come with me to adopt Star. The boy having a mother like you only feels disgust. Willow, like Grace's eyes darkened looking at me, but still nodded agreement. But she had only one request: to let Forest toward south move into the villa we bought when newlywed. Star, since returning to the Welfare Institute, spoke less and less. Every time the boy held my hand calling Dad, I felt heartbroken beyond measure. But I am about to die. In the future I cannot protect the boy, can only leave more money, buy more clothes, find a good family for him. I have suffered my whole life, cannot let Star be implicated too. But Willow, like Grace, kept making me wait. She said, wait for Forest toward south to move in, then take me. I waited. She said, wait for Forest toward south to settle, then take me. I waited another night, but she said, wait for Forest toward south to clean the room, then take me. I knew what state my body was in. I understood I could not wait more. So for the first time I raged before Willow, like Grace. Finally she took me. But what I saw was not Star alive, but a cold grave. Willow, like Grace, stood behind me, words carrying reluctance but cold to the bone. The boy's leukemia had no matching marrow for transplant. The boy could not survive. Leave peaceful, safe. Do not be so foolish. I only knew to lift my head, look again and again at the nameless tombstone. Sat there dazed for long. I forgot how I returned. Upon arriving, I said no more words, only silently sat there. Little by little, folded neatly the new clothes bought for Star. Willow, like Grace, silently watched me. At exactly 6 o'clock appeared at the door, brought me a bowl of plain porridge. Drink it. Your body cannot endure. But I still did not react, only coldly sat folding clothes, until deep into the night. Willow, like Grace, irritably closed her eyes, unintentionally touched my hand, cold to terrifying. I go buy medicine for you. Even if dying, do not die here. Truly unlucky. Willow, like Grace, left with a grim face. Pain from my hair made me lift my head. Forest toward south viciously pulled my hair, drew on my face, carrying jealousy full of resentment, pretending weak again. Leave peaceful, safe. Just lost a child. Why pretend stupid? His voice sharp. Leave peaceful, safe. I hate your fake style. Even if the boy did not die, if I become his foster father, I have 100 ways to make him die. Leave peaceful, safe. Can you really control? My eyes bloodshot, like a venomous snake staring at Forest toward south. But Forest toward south saw my eyes, only found it funny, still dare glare at me. I really gave you face, even though I told Willow, like Grace, to stop the medicine. What can you do? For the first time I hated to the extreme. I hated why I was so weak, hated why I did not discover the truth. But hating back and forth, I only hated why I loved Willow, like Grace. My hands kept groping on the floor, finally touched the cold knife. I suddenly grabbed it, fiercely stabbed toward Forest toward south, but I was still one step slow, did not hit. Willow, like Grace, coldly looked at me, still going mad. She checked Forest toward south, crying from fear, examined carefully 4 or 5 times, confirmed he was fine, then coldly looked at me. Leave peaceful, safe. You are insane. I faced her, gnashed teeth word by word. He deserves it. Willow, like Grace, hugged Forest toward south's waist, still tried to defend him. He only talked. The one who stopped Star's medicine was me. Why not kill me? I was like hearing a joke. Suddenly, Red-Eyed laughed loudly. He only talked and you stopped the medicine. He indirectly killed Star. He is innocent. Willow like Grace. How much do you love him? I suddenly rushed before Willow like Grace. I precisely hate him. Willow, like Grace. If capable, do not let me see him again. See once I kill once. Willow like Grace's eyes full of hatred. She turned and left. The vast villa left only me. Leave peaceful safe. You are just like your damn mother. She was vicious. You are vicious too. If South has anything, I make you bury with him. Known each other 26 years. Married 10 years. Willow like Grace never mentioned my mother. Even when we argued fiercest, she did not open her mouth. But now, personally stabbed a knife into my chest. I powerlessly collapsed on the floor. Tried to curl up. Why? Willow, like Grace. Dying for Forest toward South not enough. Why take Star's life too? You clearly knew. For Star, I gave you everything. Why still so cruel? I questioned word by word, answering me. Only the bodyguard's cold words. Miss Willow said, you intentionally harmed Mr. Forest. Mr. Forest was frightened. By family law, you must enter the cold storage to reflect. After saying that, several bodyguards immediately rushed in, dragged me into the cold storage. I trembled from cold. Breath all frost. Time passed second by second. My heartbeat grew slower, fainted then woke. I was already lying in the hospital bed. Willow, like Grace's eyes red, grabbed my collar. Gnashed teeth word by word. Leave peaceful safe. I will not let you die easily. I want you to suffer for life. But I lightly smiled and bowed my head. I really wanted to tell her no need to waste effort. I am about to die. The next day I understood her meaning. Before reacting, several bodyguards forcefully pushed me into the writing room. Miss Willow, Mr. Leaf just escaped life danger. Now, drawing blood. I fear. Willow, like Grace, coldly looked at the still stubborn back before her. Firmly spoke. Forest toward South though anemic, but clearly the most common hidden blood type. Yet he insisted I transfuse for him. Already drew nearly 1 bag of blood. My eyelids grew heavier. Fainted in delirium. Willow, like Grace, gently said to Dr. Forest, give him painkillers. Do not let him coma and die. Dr. Forest stepped in from outside, resolutely spoke. Miss Willow, this time really cannot draw more, but I proactively extended my arm. Eyes empty. After drawing, can I leave? Willow like Grace's eyes slightly wavered, but still firmly pulled my hand, handed to Dr. Forest to draw blood. After drawing we go divorce. I no longer had strength to speak. I bowed my head, like a rag doll controlled by others. I do not know how long passed. Everything finally ended. I collapsed on the table. Willow, like Grace coldly snorted, ordered bodyguards to drag me up. Take to Civil Affairs, Bureau. Blood continuously gushed from my mouth. I nearly used my last strength to sign the divorce paper. Holding the divorce paper, I intended to leave, but Willow like Grace suddenly gripped my wrist tight, face with sarcastic smile. Where to? South is still very weak today. You must stay as backup blood bag. I bowed my head, even no strength to resist. Dragged away. At the wedding, Willow like Grace gently held Forest toward South's arm. The happiness on her face moved everyone, except me. Staggering in the second floor corner. In pain. I spat a large mouthful of blood, whole body trembling. I knew I had reached the limit. Instinctively wanted to step forward. No, I absolutely cannot die miserably here. But my hand just touched the stair railing. My whole body was yanked back hard by Willow like Grace. Forest toward South suddenly fainted. Quick, come transfuse. I could not utter a word. Large blood streaks. I tried hard to hold in my mouth. I wanted to tell her I am about to die, but I do not want to die here. But before my eyes darkened, I no longer struggled. Let the blood be drawn tube by tube. Outside the window, guests raised glasses in toast. My consciousness blurred, as if returning to our wedding day. Willow, like Grace that day, was drunk from toasts, but still unconsciously held my hand tight. All kinds of sounds intertwined. I tiredly closed my eyes, as if hearing her say, peaceful, safe, I will never betray you. A white light flashed before my eyes. I died completely on the writing table. Willow, like Grace's heart, suddenly ached. She half leaned on the chair, slightly drunk. She suddenly remembered me, the man who never admitted defeat. I always silently persisted, but when arguing with her, every time I quietly endured. She watched me from initial pleading, to later collapse, then trying to hold on. She deceived me countless times, once directly avoided me for a whole month. I also did not make noise, did not cause trouble, waited for her to come home. I even brought her a cup of coffee. She did not understand why I persisted. Clearly she treated me badly. Clearly, she madly wanted to push me away. But Willow, like Grace, understood. All because I loved her. Her hands trembled non-stop. Could not suppress the stirring because of me. Could not stop thinking of everything related to me. Dr. Forrest told her. After transfusion, I rested on site. I had nowhere to go. Hearing this answer, she slightly relieved. But why was her heart so uneasy? Forrest toward south brought a glass of milk from the kitchen. Like Grace, drink the milk, helps sleep easily. He smiled gently. Similar to me by 30%, deeply imprinted in Willow like Grace's heart, exactly like my frequent smile 3 years ago. Yes. Forrest toward south resembles me. The brows, the mouth corners, the proud personality. The reason she decided to engage Forrest toward south, besides him being obedient and sensible, also because he craved, she reached out to embrace Forrest toward south. Heart sank to the abyss. This world does not have only one me. Just one leaf, peaceful, safe. She did not believe she could not forget. Forrest toward south's, cheeks slightly red, half leaning in Willow like Grace's embrace, face full of joy. Since their deal, this was the first time she actively got close to him. Perhaps they could take this chance to go further. Willow like Grace's dress was removed. Forrest toward south hurriedly offered his lips, but she only indifferently watched, the strength in her eyes almost uncontrollable. She could not accept any man besides me. Forrest toward south. You forgot our deal. Forrest toward south pursed lips, eyes full of unwillingness. Like Grace. But we are married. Willow like Grace stood up, faintly smiled, adjusted the tie. You also know it is fake. You act with me. I give you resources. If not for your father addicted to gambling, you would not have chance to sit here. Willow, like Grace, spoke like an emotionless machine, judging everything. After speaking, she, without lingering, stood up and went downstairs. Forrest toward south clenched his palms, eyes gradually red, becoming vicious, because he realized, himself, a substitute, could never truly replace that person. In Willow, like Grace's heart, Willow, like Grace, lay on the bed, mind full of harsh dialogues with me, tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Finally, she could not hold back, actively called my number. The ringtone disrupted her mind. When the rejected ring sounded, the room sank into silence, her heart chaotic. She still called Dr. Forrest. Go find Leaf peaceful, safe. If he is fine, no need to call me back. Dr. Forrest stunned. Such things, though he did for Willow like Grace countless times. But this time he still cautiously asked, but Miss Willow, at divorce you said, in future, no more report Mr. Leaf's matters. Willow, like Grace, closed eyes, as if farewell. Spoke, find him, arrange everything, then send him abroad, then let him never appear before me. Treat as if he is dead. Dr. Forrest looked at the ended call, gently sighed. Willow, like Grace, always stubbornly terrifying. She clearly still cared for me, but refused to admit. He followed her over 20 years, watched her attitude toward me change day by day, but unchanged was the feeling for me. When young, upon knowing, my mother was the one who forced her mother to death, she nearly a week said no words. She sat there very long, until Dr. Forrest discovered. She had emptily cried very long. First time Dr. Forrest saw her so sad, hopeless and profound. Dr. Forrest. I cannot not love him. Dr. Forrest looked at her, carrying hatred and love intertwined. Married me. At first, we also had a few happy days. Willow, like Grace, entrusted countless hatreds into my family. She calculated everything, only to build a wall of happiness for me. But I still discovered the truth about the assets. I held the acid report questioning her. Tears fell on her arm. Willow, like Grace, almost collapsed. Finally, she still tried to turn her back, spoke words against her heart. I hate you to death, hate until I want you to die. I did not believe anyone. Believed nothing. Willow, like Grace, loved me so deeply yet hated me. But I sought her time after time, from disappointment to despair. Finally, I even drank countless sedatives in the room. That was the first time Willow, like Grace, panicked so. Carried me seeking help. She said she no longer loved me, begged me to live again. She asked Dr. Forrest how to make me live on. Dr. Forrest helplessly sighed, told her, sometimes hate lasts longer than love. Thus we loved each other. Killed each other 10 years. Tortured each other a full 10 years. Dr. Forrest helplessly sighed, returned to the wedding hall. A chill suddenly hit. He unconsciously shivered. All wedding decorations still intact, only under the brilliant lights. My pale face. He, full of hope, intended to approach and touch. But the next moment, my pale corpse collapsed. Death strangely tragic. All 5 senses oozing blood. Most terrifying was the mouth still endlessly bleeding. Dr. Forrest unconsciously stepped back twice. The horror in his eyes could not be hidden. In his mind, there was only one thought. I am dead. You must call her. Not the hospital, but the morgue. Before his eyes there was only one infinitely magnified thought. That Willow, like Grace, would go mad. At the same moment, Willow, like Grace's heart suddenly ached sharply. She gripped the table edge tightly, leaned on the sofa, breathing heavily. In her mind inexplicably appeared my smiles. She instinctively wanted to call my number, but her hand stopped on the screen. In the end did nothing. She had no right to find me. After all, she herself had pushed me far away. Willow, like Grace's fingers, tapped the table incessantly. The restlessness in her heart still lingered. Unable to be soothed, Forrest toward South stepped in from outside the room. For a moment, she seemed to see again the image of me from years ago, smiling and confessing to her. Forrest toward South saw her eyes momentarily dazed, smugly smiled, handed over the prepared plane ticket, placed it in her hand. Like Grace, I have thought it through. This honeymoon let us go to Maldives. Willow, like Grace, neither agreed nor refused, only silently looked at Forrest toward South, lowered her head, pitifully spoke. I have always wanted to go there. In the past, my father always said, when I grow up he would take me. Now it is impossible. The weakness he displayed truly made Willow, like Grace, unable to refuse. Just because the moment he bowed his head sadly, she remembered me. In the past when I was sulking, I also had such a pitiful expression. I was both flustered and secretly watching her reaction. If she agreed, I would smile happily, step forward to embrace her, loudly say to her, Willow, like Grace, you are the best person in this world to me. Thinking of this, Willow, like Grace's heart, uncontrollably convulsed again, as if possessed by ghosts. She agreed. After all, she and Forrest toward South were husband and wife in name, even if just acting. Must do it completely. Thus, Forrest toward South excitedly paced back and forth in the room. He busily prepared, nearly all, 3 large suitcases full of clothes and shoes, while Willow, like Grace, was somewhat absent-minded, kept looking at the phone, as if waiting for some call. Forrest toward South noticed a flash of jealousy and resentment in his eyes. His nails dug tightly into his palms. From a rich young master to the son of a gambling addict, what kind of woman had he not seen? But among all those women, only Willow, like Grace, made him most obsessed. He did not believe he could not conquer her. Everything for the trip was ready. Willow, like Grace, proactively chartered a private plane, prepared to take him to Maldives. All along the way, though Forrest toward South kept trying to please, she remained unmoved. Even somewhat annoyed, closed her eyes. The surrounding atmosphere grew heavier. Under the silence, her tense thoughts were finally soothed. Willow, like Grace, fell asleep, slept very peacefully. And right at that moment, Dr. Forrest's phone suddenly called. Forrest toward South looked at Willow, like Grace, just falling asleep, intended to instinctively wake her, but it seemed she was having a beautiful dream. He suddenly feared, if he woke her, Perhaps she would have a bad impression of him. And he also carried a bit of selfishness. What if it was that damn man again? Just one word could steal Willow like Grace's heart. All his efforts these days would be wasted. Thus, he quietly stepped aside, picked up the phone. Dr. Forrest's anxious voice immediately said everything. After all, this was Willow like Grace's phone. Besides her, she never let anyone touch it. Miss Willow. Are you listening? Mr. Leaf peaceful safe. He is dead. Now, the police are examining the body. Initial cause is his condition worsening, plus continuous blood transfusions leading to death. Forrest toward south immediately widened his eyes. Even the phone fell to the ground. Willow, like Grace beside him, slightly stirred. Forrest toward south gnashed his teeth. The fear in his heart surpassed everything. After all, he had only followed Willow like Grace for less than a year, but knew clearly in this world, Willow like Grace feared neither heaven nor earth. Her only weakness was me. He anxiously clenched his fists. Dr. Forrest on the other side kept explaining. But Forrest toward south knew. If Willow like Grace knew I was dead, who knew how madly she would rage? By then. His outcome. Forrest toward south dared not think further, hurriedly said to Dr. Forrest over the phone. Dr. Forrest. Miss Willow already knows. We are on honeymoon. She said wait until back in the country. I will handle the funeral for Leaf peaceful safe. That is it. Do not call again. Miss Willow does not want to hear any news about that man. Forrest toward south hung up, his back already drenched in sweat. He carefully deleted the call history, placed the phone back. Just as Willow like Grace woke up, eyes dreamy, looked at that familiar back, instinctively called. Peaceful safe. Dr. Forrest looked at the ended call, did not know what to do, but he knew. Willow like Grace had never let others touch her personal belongings. Unless. But now, she allowed Forrest toward south to answer the phone for her. Perhaps in her heart, she had truly let go of me. In the past, everyone opposed me and Miss Willow being together, but I still resolutely used actions to make everyone acknowledge us. He remembered the first time meeting me was when Willow like Grace brought me home. I was not shy at all, bounced around the villa like someone tireless. Seeing him, I even proactively rushed to greet. Hello. I am Leaf peaceful safe. When Willow like Grace followed behind me, the worry on her face surprised Dr. Forrest. After all, Willow, like Grace, the child unloved by parents, had never had such vivid expressions. I was like a ray of light illuminating Willow like Grace's life, to the point she feared someone stealing me. She was wary of any woman with intentions toward me. When just entering elementary school, she even believed in the so-called God of love, lit incense and worshipped every day, only praying I would not have too many admirers. Willow like Grace's love was both secretive and profound. Dr. Forrest knew clearly, but he could not expect two people loving so deeply would come to this point. Thinking of this, Dr. Forrest could not help sighing. Perhaps Willow like Grace had truly let go. He could only think so, but he did not know. Just half an hour earlier, Willow like Grace had met me in a dream. She did not see my face clearly, only felt the warmth from my cheek, and that broken voice. Willow like Grace. I no longer need you. Willow like Grace's heart panicked, intended to rush forward to grab my wrist, but she grabbed nothing, only touched emptiness. The cold air made her fall into extreme unease. She vaguely felt something had really happened to me. Woke startled from the dream. Willow, like Grace, drenched in sweat, like a drowning person. Forrest toward south unchanged expression. Brought a cup of hot water. What did you say? Why can I not understand? Leaf peaceful, safe, Willow like Grace's confused mind instantly cleared. Immediately grabbed his wrist. Kept questioning. Just now did anyone call me? Did you answer? Was someone talking about Leaf peaceful safe? Forrest toward south's face immediately changed, but still tried to deny. No. No. You mean Dr. Forrest? Dr. Forrest did call. He said, Leaf peaceful safe is living very well. Also said you two are divorced. He does not want to see you again. Willow like Grace had no doubt, only instinctively panicked. Her grip on Forrest toward south's wrist tightened. Expression panicked as never before. Did he really say that? Forest toward South's eyes flashed panic, resolutely nodded. Like Grace. Do not think anymore. You and he are divorced. No matter what he does, it no longer concerns you. Willow, like Grace, no longer struggled, lowered her head, smiling foolishly. So the dream meant this was to say goodbye. Forest toward South then breathed relief, like a kitten burrowed into her embrace. Kept acting spoiled. Like Grace. In the future, let us live well together. I know we are just a deal, but I really cannot help liking you. Willow. Like Grace's body stiffened. No reaction at all. Her ears heard nothing. Only repeated my words in the dream. Willow. Like Grace. I no longer need you. Willow. Like Grace and Forest toward South in Maldives. Played for a whole week. But throughout that week, Willow, like Grace, was always listless. She kept looking at the phone, hoping Dr. Forest or someone would call her, tell her I had not left. She could not accept returning home, that empty villa, even less accept a life without me. She silently scolded herself for being sick. I had tormented her for years, finally about to end. Yet she was reluctant. But she told herself, I had never personally said I did not need her. So the dream must be the opposite. Thus she did not care. Forest toward South, still enjoying in Maldives, coldly spoke, we must return home. Forest toward South did not understand, but saw her still reluctantly stroking her ring finger. That ordinary ring. Immediately understood why she wanted to return. An intense unease tormented his heart. He was restless, fiercely gripped the luxury watch. No, absolutely not. Must not let Willow like Grace know the truth. Like Grace. Let us return a bit later. Forest toward South began pleading, using his familiar spoiled act, but this time Willow like Grace, eyes cold as ice, left a sentence. If you do not want to return, you can stay here. After saying that, she did not look at Forest toward South's expression, turned and walked away. Forest toward South bit his lip, extremely unwilling. He looked at my photo saved in the phone, heart as if torn apart. On what basis? In the end, on what basis? On what basis I am dead yet she still remembers forever. He. Forest toward South. Young. Capable. In the end were inferior to me. No. He absolutely could not sit waiting for death. Thus that afternoon, Willow, like Grace, received another message. From my number. She was overjoyed, hurriedly opened the phone, but that message coldly made her heart tremble. Willow, like Grace. We are truly over. Do not find me anymore. Willow. Like Grace's heart immediately tightened. She knew she had done many wrong things. Me saying these words was normal, but why did her heart hurt so? She really wanted to explain. Explain everything, had reasons. But what could she say? Clearly I had given her so many chances. It was her who wasted them herself. Willow like Grace, dejected, began to collapse. Forest toward South sat beside her, gently embraced her body, softly comforted. It is okay. You still have me. I will never leave you. Willow, like Grace, did not resist. Forest toward South, inwardly delighted, even boldly moved closer to Willow like Grace. But a phone suddenly received a voice message from a friend. Willow like Grace, heartbroken, completely did not notice Forest toward South's actions. Forest toward South ran into the bathroom to listen. Irritably spoke, why make me use a WeChat account? Moreover, this WeChat account has so little money. Forest toward South, annoyed, contemptuously spoke. Take the money and do the job, then go. What nonsense. If I knew you were this troublesome, I would not have found you to help. 50,000 yuan already transferred to you. In the future, if I do not find you, do not call me. The phone was slammed, hung up. Forest toward South looked at my WeChat account, momentarily lost in thought, while Willow like Grace on the other side, still immersed in that message, for long did not speak, and Forest toward South kept using WeChat, sending Willow like Grace all kinds of heartless messages, then proactively came to comfort. Leave peaceful, safe. What did he say again? Willow like Grace. It is okay. I will wait with you for him. Willow like Grace. I will always be by your side. I absolutely will not leave you. Forest toward South did not believe someone unmoved. But Willow like Grace still had no reaction. She always believed as long as I did not directly say to her. Then I was surely deceiving myself. Forest toward south, angry, gnashed teeth. Hated iron not becoming steel. Again found his old friend. This time, help me arrange a girl beside that man. Must be natural. Do not let others see. The friend suspiciously asked. Buddy did not know what Forest toward south was plotting. Just help me. Do not ask much. Money is easy to discuss. The friend really helped him make a photo. In that photo, I smiled leaning on a woman's shoulder, face full of tenderness. Forest toward south, satisfied, smiled. That night, already posted the photo on friend's circle. Of course, also let Willow like Grace see. That was the first night Willow like Grace could not sleep. She remembered the last time staying up all night was because someone confessed to me. That night she tossed all night. She did not want to yield me to anyone. She even less wanted to see me leaning on another's shoulder. But now the nightmare became reality. She used the whole night to think, who exactly was that woman? She viewed that joint photo over and over, finally turned into a bitter smile at the corner of her mouth. She self-mocked. Leave peaceful, safe. Your taste in people is really bad, whether now or before. She stood up, preparing to return home. The fear she once had, now had turned to smoke. Willow like Grace even thought, as long as I am well, anything is fine. Forest toward south, satisfied, looked at her phone. Understood that one day he would make her moved. But right at this moment, Dr. Forest's phone suddenly called. Seeing Willow like Grace showering, Forest toward south hurriedly rushed to answer. Miss Willow. When will you return? Mr. Leave peaceful, safe. His body cannot be preserved much longer. Dr. Forest looked at my body in the morgue, helplessly sighed. Mr. Leaf's condition is truly too severe. Now must immediately bury. Forest toward south, smugly curved his mouth. In 3 days, I will return to handle his funeral. Dr. Forest heard this, suddenly widened eyes, unbelievably asked, is this really Miss Willow's intention? Forest toward south, annoyed by the question, retorted. What else? Now I am Willow like Grace's husband. You are just a doctor. Do not meddle in others' affairs. Do not interfere in what is not yours. The phone was slammed, hung up, but Dr. Forest coldly looked at the calendar on the phone. After all, 3 days later is Willow like Grace's mother's death anniversary. These 3 days, Willow like Grace did not know how she passed. She only felt time passed too slowly. Returning to the villa, the familiar feelings stabbed her heart. Tonight, she returned to the villa that once burned, tried to search for some traces, but nothing remained. The fire had burned everything, only leaving endless emptiness. And these 3 days, Forest toward south also had no time to pay attention to her. After all, he had to find ways to handle my funeral, both not letting Willow like Grace discover, and not letting Dr. Forest suspect. Thus he thought of a way benefiting both. That was to take my body to my old hometown to handle the funeral. Only he did not know Willow like Grace also came. After all, her mother's grave was also buried in my old hometown. This morning, both woke very early. Forest toward south, puzzled, looked at Willow like Grace. Only thought she had insomnia. Made an excuse, then drove away. While Willow like Grace also finished packing, drove away. The scenery along the way lush green. The familiar fatigue hit, making Willow like Grace slightly short of breath. She drove to her mother's grave, did not know how to express. Over the years, she always lost everything. Lost mother, lost everyone's support, and this year lost the most important. She painfully softly said, Mother, Mother, tell me. Clearly, I should hate him, but why can I not hate? Mother. Leave peaceful, safe seems to really no longer need me. Mother. Do you have a way to make him return to my side? The more she spoke later, Willow like Grace's voice grew smaller. She had cried until no sound. Tears that had not fallen for years, at this moment finally fell before Mother's grave, as if Mother was comforting this stubborn and pitiful child. While Forest toward south also led a large group arriving. He said Willow like Grace did not care, so the funeral keep simplest. Dr. Forest bowed, looking at me in the coffin, my face still pale. Even the clothes on the body did not fit, like a broken porcelain doll lying there. Dr. Forest suddenly arranged for me, when everyone thought this was a play, Only Dr. Forrest truly knelt there. He really hoped in the next life I would be happy. Forrest toward south, annoyed for having to keep face. He could not get angry. Only could watch Dr. Forrest busy. After I and Willow like Grace married. Friends gradually distanced. The friends circle at this time. Only a few sporadically came to pay respects. Everyone was very quiet, to the point no one noticed Willow like Grace, hiding behind the Steely. Watching everything. Willow like Grace could not see clearly what they were doing. She intended to leave, but exactly 5 minutes earlier. She called Forrest toward south. Forrest toward south on the other end deliberately lowered voice. Tried not to let her hear anything. But Willow like Grace still heard Dr. Forrest's sad tone. Mr. Forrest. The offerings for Mr. Leaf really cannot be less. The phone was hurriedly hung up. Willow like Grace at this moment suddenly heard a not loud, not soft sound. Forrest toward south, standing ahead, kept directing, as if afraid others discover. He even warned everyone. Today's matter no one can speak out. Dr. Forrest always bowed his head, mouth mumbling. Willow, like Grace, heard. It was unclear prayer. Praying for whom? An intense unease made Willow like Grace almost forget to breathe. She kept self-consoling. How could it be? A few days ago I still messaged, saying I had a new life, hoping she would not disturb me. She just intended to reply, then discovered deleted. If I was dead, how could I have a new girlfriend? Surely something wrong. The more self-consoling, her ears heard even clearer the cautious whispers of friends. Forrest toward south's annoyed curses looking at the bill, and the sound of her heart shattering violently. No. It cannot be me. Willow, like Grace, did not know how long she stood there, until everyone left. Forrest toward south even proactively messaged her. Today's rehearsal is done. Look at my outfit, is it beautiful? She opened the screen to see, only then discovered he wore completely different from just now. He lied to her. But why did he lie to her? Who exactly was the person in the coffin today? She staggered forward, eyes as if covered in mist. Willow, like Grace, almost knelt before the Steely. Forrest toward south did not even engrave my name. Only a blurry photo could not be blurrier. Willow, like Grace's hand trembled, lightly touching, but the moment seeing clearly, she almost collapsed, because that photo clearly was the one she personally took for me. That was the first time I smiled at her, but now also became the last. Surroundings silent, silent as the realm of death. Willow like Grace staggered, face pale, but eyes red as bleeding. Like a caged beast, she dragged steps forward, hands kept trembling, lips pale without blood. Realizing this might be her peaceful safe, her throat as if thousands of words to say, but before uttering, she as if bones extracted, heavily knelt to the ground. She silently looked at my photo, as if suddenly realizing something, turned and began digging with bare hands. Rain began to drizzle. She could not see clearly in the rain what. 10 fingernails kept bleeding. Pain beyond words. But in such a mad night, she really dug up my body with bare hands. Forrest toward south to save money. Did not even prepare a coffin for me, while Willow like Grace touched. Only felt the ice-cold hand. Peaceful, safe. Her voice hoarse. Thus embraced me out of the soil. Held in arms. Impossible. Impossible. Peaceful. Safe. You are too cold. You here must be very cold. Peaceful, safe. I beg you. Say one word to me. Peaceful, safe. You are not obedient. Look. Grown so big yet made yourself so dirty. Let me wipe for you. The action of wiping with handkerchief for me. Careful to such extent, as if afraid to hurt me, but with her hand movements. The rotting flesh could not withstand touch, even lightly touched by hand. Rainwater mixed with flesh like torn cloth, layer by layer. Flesh quickly peeled off. Willow like Grace stunned. Stopped hands. She lowered head. Picked up each small piece. She carefully spoke. Peaceful, safe. Are you angry? Are you angry at me? Why did I come find you so late? Peaceful, safe. She finally could not bear reality. Mind blank. Only infinite pain left. She thus sat the whole night. When Forrest toward south discovered Willow like Grace not returned, he paced in the villa, kept calling Willow like Grace's phone, but the other end never answered. Forest toward south, full of anxiety. Tried to recall, if he did anything wrong. Could Willow like Grace have discovered about me? Impossible. Impossible. How could she discover me? Cannot scare myself. He waited nearly 3 hours. 4 in the morning. Finally he told this to Dr. Forest. Though Dr. Forest also did not know where she went, but in his heart had a premonition. Willow like Grace had discovered me. Thus he did not even tell Forest toward south, headed to the daytime grave. The grave just after rain. Wet everywhere. He in the mist kept calling. Miss Willow. Miss Willow. Finally, he still saw her collapsed there. Willow like Grace dazed, whole body as if soaked in water. Seeing Dr. Forest, she smiled innocently like a child. Dr. Forest. I found Leaf peaceful safe, but he seems not to forgive me. Dr. Forest startled, only then realized she held a skeleton in arms. He stunned sat on the ground. Shock. Miss Willow. But Willow like Grace completely did not realize her behavior had anything abnormal. Instead, blankly looked at him. Dr. Forest. What is wrong with you? Why not come help me? Leaf peaceful safe is very cold now. Quick come help me. This scene had an indescribable strangeness. He tried to suppress the fear in his heart. Softly, said, Miss Willow, let us go home first, okay? Mr. Leaf is too cold now. Need to quickly go home. Get under blankets. Did you not say you found him? Finally found him. Willow like Grace like a child nodded, but just standing up, her eyes began to blur. After a day and night, at this moment exhausted, the moment fainting, she still instructed Dr. Forest. Remember to bring Leaf peaceful safe home. He fears cold. Must cover him with many blankets. Dr. Forest looked at the skeleton in her hands. Took half a day to make her let go. He knew continuing like this was not the way. Thus that night, he cremated my remains. Looked at Willow like Grace on the bed still tightly frowning. He helplessly sighed. Miss Willow, next can only rely on you. Willow, like Grace, dreamed a very long dream. In the dream, she suddenly discovered I was dead. She personally dug up my remains. She remembered how cold my body was. Cold. To make her heart tremble. Woke startled from the nightmare. She opened eyes. Only saw the familiar villa ceiling. Dr. Forest beside warming soup for her. She painfully struggled. That sentence stuck in throat. Stopped then stopped again. She did not want to ask. Did not want to know. But still spoke. Dr. Forest. That was not a dream. Right. Dr. Forest did not know how to answer. Only placed the cremated ashes box before her. He helplessly said, Miss Willow, please restrain your grief. The moment Willow like Grace saw the ashes box, she began to go mad. Struggled to sit up. The sorrow accumulated nearly 10 days. Finally overflowed. She embraced the ashes box. Softly whispered, why use such a small box? Peaceful. Safe said he likes big houses. Lock him here. He will be sad. This state lasted 7 full days. And in those 7 days, Willow, like Grace, did not say another word. But actually she still spoke. Only limited to a few short words. Only when before my ashes. Her words gradually increased. She cared for the ashes like caring for a child. Even every day told stories to me. Peaceful, safe. Today are you a bit happier? Though answering her was only emptiness, she still stubbornly continued. Dr. Forest finally could not bear. When she went mad again, he proactively approached. Kept saying that terrifying truth. Miss Willow. He is already dead. You cannot let him worry for you like this. The pain in Willow like Grace's heart exploded. Finally found an outlet. Her eyes full of sorrow. But I cannot do it. Without him, I will die. Dr. Forest helplessly looked at Willow like Grace. This scene had happened once before. That time was because I discovered the truth. My horrified eyes. He still remembered to this day. As if I gathered countless hatred in a moment. Madly said to her. Willow, like Grace, I will never love you again. That moment. Willow like Grace's eyes were also blank as now. She mumbled for long. Still did not want to believe. Peaceful, safe. Peaceful, safe. But at that time I had run far, only leaving her alone there. At that time she was also like now. Dr. Forrest struggled, did not know if he should tell her. Forrest toward south still kept messaging, asking where exactly Willow like Grace was. Why not let him see her? But to the 7th day, Willow like Grace suddenly understood something. Morning ate properly. Afternoon slept also no longer talked nonsense to the ashes. She as if returned to before. The unyielding Willow like Grace. She sat on the sofa, looked at my old photos on the phone, silently spoke. When did you discover? Peaceful safe had. The last 2 words. She did not want to say, just because could not bear. Dr. Forrest's eyes, momentarily blurred, spoke. Miss Willow. The 2nd day after Mr. Leaf passed. I already told you. Willow like Grace's hand suddenly tightened. In her memory completely no such thing. Dr. Forrest's next words made her completely awake. At that time it was Mr. Forrest toward south who answered the phone. He said in the future Mr. Leaf's matters no need to report to you. Said you two no longer had any relation. Willow like Grace's heart as if bleeding, helpless and sorrowful spoke. Leaf peaceful safe is the most important person in my life. How could I say such words? Dr. Forrest suddenly understood. Forrest toward south's strange expression at that time. His concealment these past days. He immediately knelt down. Apologized. It is my fault. But now Juj those things no longer meaningful. Willow like Grace knew I was dead. She looked at the phone. The other end still kept sending messages. Willow, like Grace. Do not find me anymore. Between us no longer any relation. Willow like Grace. I have a new girlfriend. Between us no longer any outcome. Willow like Grace. Do not find me. Willow. Like Grace bitterly smiled, but the smile full of hatred and anger. Why before she did not discover? I never spoke like that. She hated her own stupidity. Also hated herself for spoiling Forrest toward south too much. Letting him dare do such things. Dr. Forrest. I must go back. You take good care of Leaf peaceful safe. Do not tell anyone about these past days. If anyone asks, just say I only went to relax a bit. Dr. Forrest had followed Willow like Grace for years. Immediately understood what was happening. Firmly nodded. And Mr. Forrest. Willow like Grace looked at the threatening messages from my number. Eyes sharp, even sharper. He wanted to be the master of the Willow family like this. Then I will give him that position. Whether he can do it well only depends on himself. The next day, Forrest toward south just woke. Saw Willow like Grace coldly standing beside, face with a fleeting smile. Awake, Forrest toward south heart slightly chilled. But right after, Willow like Grace suddenly embraced him. I prepared a gift for you. Forrest toward south immediately. Felt heart full of unexpected joy. Thought she finally understood. He was her lifelong love. What good day is today? Forrest toward south said. Smiling ran to see the reward on the floor. Completely did not notice Willow like Grace's cold eyes behind. Forrest toward south. I thought it through. If Leaf peaceful safe no longer needs me, then I no longer need to think of him. In the future this villa only us two. Forrest toward south overjoyed. Pulled Willow like Grace's hand. Deliberately provoked. But Willow like Grace did not hold his waist. There is another surprise. Do not rush. We take it slow. Forrest toward south, extremely excited. Immediately kissed Willow like Grace's left cheek. Okay. Dear wife, now I go prepare. Willow, like Grace lightly smiled. Watched him go shower. Only indifferently used alcohol to wipe the place he touched. Wiping over and over. Until the skin turned red hot. She did not stop. Gnashing her teeth in fury. She could hardly contain the towering hatred for Forrest toward south. The corners of her eyes red in a terrifying way. This was the result from last night. When she read each of those messages, she would not let Forrest toward south live in peace. She wanted him to suffer for life, never daring to mention my name again. When Forrest toward south just stepped out, he happened to witness this scene. His heart suddenly skipped a beat. A fear surged up. Willow. Like Grace. Willow. Like Grace. She said nothing. Pulled him outside. Forrest toward south sensed something, but did not know where he went wrong. Until strolling the streets, the place they had just passed, suddenly, A large flower pot fell down, scaring him out of his wits. He looked at Willow like Grace's face. Willow like Grace. But Willow like Grace toward what just happened, seemed not surprised at all, even somewhat regretfully sighed, casually comforted. What is there to fear? I am here. What do you fear? She pulled him to continue walking, her two arms like iron clamps, gripping his wrist tightly. Forest toward south finally felt a bit of fear, even suddenly thought Willow like Grace wanted to kill him. Forest toward south was a straightforward person. Thus he rushed in front of her. Spoke. Willow like Grace. Do you still hate me? Hate me for interfering with you and leave peaceful safe. If you truly do not love me, I can leave. After saying that, he cried and ran away. Willow like Grace paused for a second, then suddenly pulled him into her embrace. What nonsense are you saying? How could I hate you? I love you too much for that. Look at this. This is the private villa I gift to you. From now on only, us two. Forest toward south was dazed by the great joy. In the corner he could not see. She revealed a triumphant smile, thinking everything was in her grasp. But he did not know. The next month he would face hell. Willow like Grace's eyes looking at him held no emotion, only boundless hatred. Looking at the enormous villa before her, she felt the pleasure of revenge for the first time. How could she let him die easily? She wanted to torture him in this villa. She wanted him to suffer for life. Wanted him to atone for my leave peaceful, safe his whole life. When I regained consciousness, surrounding was pitch black. Two people like from ancient times looked at me, helplessly sighed. Your soul is not stable yet. Need to wait for your soul to calm before continuing. After saying that, the two disappeared, leaving only me alone, wandering in endless darkness. I could not feel anything, nor hear anything, only able to be lonely there, until someone seemed to flip my body. I felt my body slightly itchy, but looking at the grieving woman before me, my mind had no memories at all. I did not recognize her, but why the moment I saw her, my heart ached so, as if I had loved her my whole life, the woman who dug up my remains. Only then did I gradually feel everything. This place was like a cemetery, so I had truly died. Looking at my empty body, I realized I had really died. I could not go anywhere, only able to quietly stand aside watching this woman. She was very beautiful, sword-like brows, bright eyes. Even in this terrifying scene, could not hide her cold temperament. She was probably someone very important to me, but I could not remember anything about everything when alive. I only saw a few faint shadows. The rest. I helplessly sat there. Gave up. I thought this woman would sit a while then leave, but she sat through day and night. I felt her body gradually becoming transparent. I foolishly thought, perhaps by then she would die here, but I did not want her to die. I could not explain why. Then someone else came. I also felt very familiar, as if when alive I knew this person. Only on his face was endless sorrow. Seeing the woman, he squatted down. Willow, like Grace, do not be like this, Mr. Leaf. Seeing would be heartbroken. Willow, like Grace. I clearly heard her name. So pleasant. In a flash, I remembered. But who is Leaf Peaceful Safe? Why is she sad because of Leaf Peaceful Safe? Just looking at her expression, I guessed Leaf Peaceful Safe was someone very important to her. But such a beautiful woman. Why make others heartbroken? I foolishly thought for long until the two finished talking. I saw the woman's body, finally, unable to hold and collapsed. That moment, I felt my heart empty. Heart also began to ache. I did not understand why. Why seeing her faint made me so sad. Dr. Forrest took them away, pulled the incomplete skeleton to cremate. When cremating, I felt my soul also burning. I ached intensely, kept struggling. Thus I tried to step aside, find a place without pain. Did not know how long. The pain finally ended. I saw my ashes held tightly by Willow like Grace. Did not know why. I also felt the warmth from her chest, along with endless sorrow. Willow, like Grace, went mad for several days. Sometimes I also followed Dr. Forrest. Together helplessly said to her, "It is okay. Everything will pass. All will pass." But she could not hear me, only kept mumbling to the ashes. Dr. Forrest tired. I also tired. That night, I was attracted by a sound. Willow like Grace holding the ashes gazing at the moon. She said many whispers. Peaceful, safe. Wait for me a bit more. I will soon come find you. After saying, she bowed down, lightly kissed the ashes box. That moment, a sharp pain pierced through me. I touched my empty heart, felt that kiss both cold and passionate, understood everything. So I was leave peaceful, safe, while Willow like Grace on this side, initially planned to torture Forrest toward South 2 or 3 years. Then kill him. Then suicide to follow leave peaceful, safe. But she calculated every way, yet did not anticipate one thing, that Forrest toward South escaped. Forrest toward South risked his life running to the main road, as if behind was a terrifying monster. A white car sped by. He recklessly rushed into the road, used his body to block the car. The driver cursed, stepping down, but he only knelt before the driver, begged. Save me, save me. Someone wants to kill me. The driver from anger immediately turned to fear. After all, looking at the man before him without a patch of good skin, he thought he was an escapee from a mental hospital. Get lost. Get lost. Forrest, toward South, refused to give up the last straw, hurriedly knelt, kept kowtowing. Please save me. Save me. Really? Someone wants to kill me. I am not lying. Someone wants to kill me. The driver wanted to leave, but was gripped tightly by Forrest toward South on the pants leg. While the two were struggling, Willow like Grace, like a demon, appeared before them, somewhat apologetically spoke. Sorry, my boyfriend's mental state is unstable. Since we have been together, he always thinks I want to harm him. Forrest toward South, upon hearing her voice, eyes immediately widened, terrified, hugged his body. No. No. The driver looked at the woman before him, with desperate pain, believed more than half, mumbled. So that is it. Then in the future do not let your boyfriend out. Very scary. Take good care of him. A good woman like you will surely be rewarded. The driver turned to get in the car, did not look at Forrest toward South again, while Forrest toward South chased the car door, desperately banged the window, eyes kept flowing tears. No. No. Do not go. She wants to kill me. Save me. Save me. But the driver did not look back, until out of sight, he still kept shouting for help. Help. Willow like Grace saw the person had gone, only then coldly spoke, like a demon crawling from hell. What right do you have to call for help? Forrest toward South's plea for help failed, turned and risked life running further, carelessly fell to the ground, knees immediately swollen red, aged to frown, but he ignored the small wound, even tried to crawl further, until stepped on his shirt by Willow like Grace, only then terrified turned to beg. Sorry, sorry. I really know I was wrong. I should not have interfered in your feelings. I am the third party. I am really despicable. I really know I was wrong. Please spare me. He said while trembling, finally disregarding body pain, knelt kowtowing to apologize. In just 10 short seconds, the ground already had a pool of blood. Spare you. Willow like Grace squatted, full of power, as if unable to believe. Asked again, I spare you. Then who spares my leaf peaceful safe? Forrest toward South completely desperate, whole body eyes empty, like final struggle, he shouted at Willow like Grace. Regardless, I was wrong. Are you not wrong? Was it not you who time after time sought me? Willow like Grace. You are the mad one. You are the maddest. Leave peaceful safe, leaving you as deserved. This sentence touched Willow like Grace's reverse scale. She coldly laughed. I am of course the mad one. You must go to hell with me. The bodyguards behind immediately grabbed Forrest toward South, without mercy dragged away, while Forrest toward South bowed his head, looked at the shattered phone thrown beside, curled his lips. How could he go to hell with her? He must stand above her head, make her die without a burial place. Just wait. My revenge will come in 3 days. News of the Willow family misimprisoning a man immediately topped global searches. Looking at the photo in the report, Dr. Forrest stopped in his tracks. In the photo, when Willow like Grace was arrested, still without regret, her hand tightly gripped the ring, the handmade ring I once gave her. Dr. Forrest did not expect she would go this far, Willow like Grace looked at the interrogators, and the crowd of reporters like a mountain, face expressionless. I have nothing to say. While at her home, the person discovered was the horrified face of Forrest toward south, and the eyes finally saved. These words just out. Public opinion in uproar. Everyone could not believe. This was Willow like Grace who once loved me to the bone. Even more unbelievable was her imprisoning her own third party. Even more the person she imprisoned. Forrest toward south urgently taken to hospital. Looking at the video online, corners of his mouth only slightly curled. The previous escape was not just to leave, but to seize time to send information. He sent the current situation through the net to major reporters. Forrest toward south knew he would surely be caught again. From the start had no hope of escaping. What he wanted was to make it big, make the whole world know, make the Willow family lose face. Willow, like Grace, directly admitted guilt, completely no resistance. Forrest toward south looked at the opposite lawyer coming to negotiate, thought he had won big, smugly laughed. I do not need any compensation. I want Willow like Grace in prison. Otherwise, I have even more evidence. Dr. Forrest, beside hearing this ridiculous statement, could not help laughing. Forrest toward south immediately furious. What are you laughing at? Now you all must beg me. If I get angry, your family, Miss Willow like Grace, will be finished. But if you give me 1 billion, then send me abroad. I also do not mind. This matter, Forrest toward south still continued daydreaming, eyes full of fantasy. Dr. Forrest coldly looked at him, interrupted. You think exploiting public opinion. We do not know how to exploit. Forrest toward south startled awake, only then hurriedly checked public opinion. Turns out, his so-called evidence was deemed fake. Even Willow like Grace was diagnosed with psychological disorder. The so-called righteous words all became nonsense. In just one night, the trump card he thought was ace lost completely. No. Cannot be like this. Quick, let me meet Willow like Grace. I want to meet Willow like Grace. Forrest toward south roared in collapse. Dr. Forrest only gave him a cold glance. Those words. Say to your cellmates in prison. He did not look back, turned and left. When Willow like Grace staggered to the villa, she stood at the door for long, not daring to enter. She remembered before, when just buying this villa, I had made a big feast. We drank cross-cupped wine in the living room. I said to her, I want to be her groom, be her most handsome groom. But now she pushed the door open. The air carried stale and rotten smell. Her voice echoed in the air, softly said, welcome home, peaceful, safe. She was speaking to herself, also to the ashes box in her arms. Willow like Grace decided to leave. Before she thought I could not leave her. Now, she realized she herself could not leave me. She could not accept a world without me. Even the air became thin. Every night in dreams, she always saw that faint face. She wanted to reach out to hug me, but I disappeared without trace. Willow, like Grace, startled awake, body drenched in sweat, mumbled, is this the punishment you give me? Peaceful, safe. Willow like Grace began sleepless long nights, dark circles under eyes. Dr. Forrest saw this was not good, only bought sedatives for her. My old clothes held in her arms. Willow, like Grace, for the first time slept, but even I did not expect I could enter Willow like Grace's dream. Willow like Grace in the dream returned to childhood, hand tightly gripping the necklace, glaring at everyone, like a small gray wolf. Mom, why have you not come pick me up? No one can touch my mom, but everyone's faces around were blurry, like demons. Snatching the necklace of mom from her hand, the photo on the wall stopped at her 5 years old. I remembered that year her mother passed. Looking at helpless Willow like Grace before me, I hugged her into my arms, gently coaxed. She in reality had suffered enough. I silently thought, at least in the dream, she could be happy a bit, but her tears soaked my shirt, lifted her small face, blinked looking at me. You are not mom. Who are you? I did not know how to answer this question. After all, my identity was too awkward. Only said to her, I am the fairy sent from heaven to save you. Willow like Grace at this time forever innocent. Just one reason and she believed immediately. Even sweetly called me big brother. But I also discovered, her childhood was not happy at all. Willow, like Grace's father, always had all kinds of mistresses. Beating. Scolding. Willow, like Grace, gradually disliked talking. Even hid in the room. That door never opened again. But outside resounded all kinds. Loud scolding. Enough to destroy a child's childhood. Every time hearing noise, I hugged her tightly. Do not fear. Do not fear, I sang. The lullaby Willow, like Grace, once sang to lull me to sleep. This trick on her not yet grown was 100 shots 100 hits. Willow, like Grace in my arms, quickly fell deeply asleep, quiet to strange. In just one short night, childhood Willow, like Grace, had told me all her secrets. She said actually did not want to be a good child, but parents all said if not good, parents would not love you. But now she helplessly looked at me, foolishly asked. Clearly, now I am very good. Why parents still not love me? Hearing this, I always heartbroken. The painful memories gradually faded. My mind only left Willow, like Grace, outwardly cold, but inwardly still like a child. But my time was not much. I could only stay in the human world 14 days. After that, I would reincarnate. The next day, Willow, like Grace, opened eyes. Long time since slept well, but upon waking, her heart empty, because she always felt she had dreamed of me. Thus Willow, like Grace, who was used to staying up late, for the first time disregarded everything to sleep early, even swallowed sedatives one by one, just to meet me. But this time she did not see me. Even midnight taken by Dr. Forrest to stomach pump. Doctor said she took too many sedatives. Almost did not survive. Dr. Forrest, heartbroken to the extreme, angrily and helplessly scolded Willow, like Grace. You want to die that much, Mr. Leaf, seeing you like this, surely would not be happy. But Willow, like Grace, only foolishly smiled, said to Dr. Forrest. But Dr. Forrest, I dreamed of him. In the dream, he hugged me, he told me stories, he talked to me, he said, I am the most lovable girl in the world. Dr. Forrest, I beg you, do not stop me. Dr. Forrest angrily, helplessly scolded. You meet him, then what? But you almost died. You not afraid of death? And what surprised everyone at the scene was Willow, like Grace's will to live low to the extreme, indifferently said, I am not afraid of death. He is waiting for me on the other side. As long as I can meet him, I fear nothing. But I ached for her. I did not want her to die. For several consecutive days, I no longer entered her dreams. The illusory memories gradually vanished. I only wished she lived well in the human world. Willow, like Grace, tried every way, but all useless. Finally, she almost collapsed, kneeling on the ground. Lifted head, drank several bottles of white liquor, face pale. Beg you to come to my dream once more, okay? I softened. Thus I agreed. That night, I again entered her dream. Willow, like Grace, in this dream had grown, wearing international school uniform, looking really handsome, outstanding appearance. Seeing me come, Willow, like Grace, only unconsciously raised hand, face full of wounds. Who are you? I have never met you. You also come to hit me. My heart ached sharply. She studied abroad in high school. I completely did not know she was once bullied. I trembled, wanting to touch the wounds on her. Looking at Willow, like Grace, like a small hedgehog, spoke. I am your big brother. Willow, like Grace, even more suspiciously looked over, eyes full of guard. Get lost. I do not remember having a big brother. After saying, she like mad ran forward. I chased behind, past a billboard. Now was when she was 15. That year was the year Willow, like Grace, least wanted to mention. Also the year she was bullied most severely. Sure enough, as expected, not running 2 streets, she at the school gate was blocked by several tall thugs. They grabbed her collar, smirked, pointed at wallet. What, pretending noble? Before played with us. Now do not want to play. You think you still a good student. Willow, like Grace, gnashed teeth, lifted head, scolded. I thought you were good people. Did not expect you do dirty things behind. Get your dirty hands off. The thug angrily turned face. Seeing her appearance, raised hand slapped, really hard. Immediately, Willow, like Grace's face swollen red a patch. If tell you, would type like you still play with us. You think this your home. Go. I take you play something more exciting. They dragged her away, while I rushed out, seeing the thugs like mad tigers. Damn. I'll get lost. Who dares touch her? I kill that person. The thugs initially startled, but seeing me also just a boy, immediately changed to another face. Still a handsome one. Go. You also go play exciting with us. They laughed loudly, running toward me. I instinctively wanted to run, but three in front pulled tight my wrists. The expected pain did not come. Willow, like Grace, like a mad person, blocked before me, eyes terrifying red, roared. Get lost. I'll get lost. The self-defense knife in her hand swung wildly, tried to protect me. Seeing her like that, for the first time I heartbroken to death. I did not know. Turns out the memories she once downplayed were so painful. Willow. Like Grace. Are you okay? Willow, like Grace, staggered, stood up, spit a mouthful of blood. Immediately ran. While running said, Nosy, you also come see me, laughed at, but I softly said from behind, spread arms wanting to hug her body. No. I come to save you. Seeing her run slower and slower, finally gradually stopped. Shoulders kept trembling. I rushed to hug her body. She then painfully cried out loud. I was so scared. I really was so scared. Why you come only now? Could you not come earlier? I could not answer this question. Only stayed by her side until dawn. But Willow, like Grace, woke from the dream. Her face carried satisfaction. She foolishly smiled at Dr. Forrest. I met him. He is still by my side. Dr. Forrest found people to perform ritual. I felt my soul, like pulled by an invisible force. Seeing my form, almost immediately closed eyes. After all, my appearance after death was too horrifying. But this time not Willow, like Grace, seeking me, but Dr. Forrest. He and I had been together long. I knew how soft-hearted he was. Moreover, he cared for Willow, like Grace, so long, but did not expect, upon knowing I was still around, not yet reincarnated. He only begged. 2 streams of tears flowed. Leave peaceful, safe. Miss Willow wronged you, but I want to beg you. Can you help Miss Willow? Before I also thought you could not leave Miss Willow, but I did not expect I was wrong. Wrong very seriously. Now Miss Willow not eat, not drink, whole body thin like a stick. If you are still here, can you let her live well? I know you can enter Miss Willow's dreams. So Mr. Leaf, please save her. He spoke sincerely, though I was only a spirit, still could not help aching for his sorrow. Dr. Forrest was a materialist, never believed in ghosts. Now for Willow, like Grace, begged me. An unconfirmable soul, but I was about to vanish. What more could I help her? But the moment seeing Willow, like Grace, my heart completely shattered. She had lost a whole circle. The once proud face, now only empty eyes moving. Dr. Forrest was right. She was really about to die. That night, I again entered her dream. Willow, like Grace in the dream, had returned to the time I first asked to break up with her. Hearing Dr. Forrest say, Willow, like Grace, that time was very painful, but looking at the deep and shallow scars on her wrists, I immediately rushed to hug her body tightly. She felt the familiar scent, unbelievably lifted eyes full of shock. Peaceful, safe. Why are you here? Did you not break up with me? This time I was not like before, saying harsh words, cruelly abandoning her, but hugged her body again, sobbing said, I will not break up with you. Until death I will still love you. The damp cold surroundings immediately changed. White lights flooded in. Willow, like Grace, dazedly hugged me back, after realizing I really existed, collapsed crying loudly. Sorry. Sorry. This time you must have suffered much, right? I did not want to punish you. Just thinking of your words, I was unwilling. But now I know. Turns out you also did not live well. Sorry. Willow, like Grace. Sorry. Willow, like Grace, wiped tears for me. Again hugged me tightly, because she knew I was about to leave. Thus I, like before, said to her, I will go down first to scout the way. Wait for you to live out your life and my life. I will wait below for you. So Willow, like Grace, please live well. If not, I will go. Not wait for you. Willow, like Grace's sorrow even more intense. gripped my hand. Whole body, trembling. No. No. I just met you. I do not want you to go. Can we stay here together? But my body had begun transparent, flying to the sky. She ran and chased. Tripped on the ground, cried heartbreakingly. Peaceful, safe. Do not leave me behind. But I could only use the last bit of time. Placed a kiss on her forehead. Said the final sentence. Willow, like Grace, please live well. After that, my body became more and more transparent, while Willow, like Grace, began to become more positive. Dr. Forrest, very happy seeing her change, even instructed to offer more ritual items for me. But looking at Willow, like Grace's eyes, somehow revealed despair. But I could not manage much. I finally could reincarnate. The day Willow, like Grace, held my funeral. The whole class came. Willow, like Grace, arrived. Every person she met. She explained once about the past, told everyone she had wronged me. The friends hearing these words all silent. Actually, they also knew. These years, I and Willow, like Grace, did not live well. Even they saw. I once suffered to the point of suicide. Just they did not mention. Dr. Forrest also came, bowed deeply apologizing. If he discovered earlier, I would not have suffered one more part. But I no longer hated. Even resentment none. I was about to reincarnate. Said goodbye to this world. My funeral handled personally by Willow, like Grace. The funeral full of dragonfly orchids. My favorite. Even the ashes box had patterns I loved. Dr. Forrest even teased Willow, like Grace. An ashes box also must be so exquisite. Only she knew she really could see. While the portrait at the funeral, cut from a joint photo of me and Willow, like Grace. The person making the portrait then emphasized, photo with living person. This is not very lucky. But Willow, like Grace, only lightly smiled. Spoke. It is okay. Just do it like this. No other photos left. But actually there were. All my previous photos carefully kept by her. How could there be no solo photos of me? I did not understand why she did this. But I also could not think much. The Taoist performed the ritual. From the start, I felt my body light as a feather. Old memories flashed in mind. Mostly about Willow. Like Grace. When small, I already liked her. I liked her. Liked every appearance of her. From then, I began pursuing her. Different from other pursuers. I never discouraged. She's sad. I stayed to make her happy. I, like a small son, entered Willow. Like Grace's life. Then, we began to love. Every day. Willow, like Grace, prepared a surprise for me. Never interrupted. Memories stopped when I smiled at Willow, like Grace. Held up the bottle cap ring. I smiled. Closed eyes. Body lighter and lighter. Like returning to mother's embrace. Ahead appeared a white light. I followed the light, going forward forever. At the end of the road, little star jumped, bouncing into my arms. Dad. Dad, you came. I hugged its body. Promised it. Hope next life, I can be its real dad. Little star nodded. Smiled, said to me. Surely will. After saying, it pulled me to continue. I finally welcomed new life. 3 days after my funeral ended, Willow, like Grace, opened eyes on the bed. Stood up, poured herself a glass of cold water. She's still not used to days without me. After all, before I always prepared hot tea for her. She never worried about no water. Willow, like Grace, decided to leave. She drove to the university, where she and I once lived together. There was me at 20. She remembered I suddenly appeared in her life, like a light illuminating her whole life. But she had lost her light, could not find again. But arriving, learned the school was on break. Almost no one. She walked a circle, somewhat dazed, sat at the school gate. A familiar teacher saw her, suddenly spoke. You are Willow, like Grace, right? Willow, like Grace, stunned a moment, forced a smile. Nodded, but the teacher unexpectedly asked. Where is Leaf, peaceful, safe? Why not come back with you? Back then he loved you most. We all followed, eating your dog food. Willow, like Grace's eyes gradually darkened. The teacher then noticed the box beside her. On it was my portrait. The teacher sighed. Did not know how to speak. Willow, like Grace, only smiled. It is okay. Teacher, I believe he is still by my side. The teacher, also inconvenient to say more, only sighed. I remember. Back then he most liked standing waiting for you under that big tree. I saw him dress nicely to find you. Later, you even successfully confessed under that tree. Now how? Forget it. The teacher left. Willow, like Grace, like hearing unbelievable story, suddenly stood up. She remembered here. She once buried something, found the item. She opened to see only a thin letter, written by me. Willow, like Grace, read very slowly. Only then she knew I had endured too much grievance. I suffered. I felt wronged. I did not say, but I used the cruelest way to hurt Willow like Grace. The letter soaked with tears. She blamed herself, finally collapsed shouting. Peaceful safe. Peaceful safe. Willow, like Grace, could no longer hold, cried loudly. When preparing to leave, she deliberately found the clothes I liked most. She wanted to meet me also must be beautiful. Then she ran to cut her hair again. Before I once said, she now always not care about image. Looked like a vagabond. Finally, she bathed hot water clean. I had cleanliness obsession. I hated most dirty things. She wanted clean to meet me. She looked in the mirror over and over, happy like about to meet lover. Then swallowed sedatives. All the pills quietly lay on the bed. Light from the old house spread around, to not disturb others. She drew an isolation zone around the old house. The circle made the fire only burn inside the house. Stomach churned. But she felt extremely happy, because finally she was about to meet the person she day and night missed. She did not beg me to forgive, only hoped to see me happy for life. Consciousness gradually faded. She like entered another world. Sun still brilliant, even air full of warmth, while she only dazedly looked at me under the far tree, laughed loudly. I finally met you. This time I definitely not let go. I also smiled at her, rushed to hug her. Yes, said it. This time I definitely not let go. She nodded, smiled in my arms.